Hi, Ellie here from the Dark Imp, helping parents reclaim family time by playing board games together. Today we're going to look at some games that involve simultaneous gameplay or simultaneous action selection. These games are great because it means that everybody's playing all the time, so there's no opportunity for anyone to get bored or start doing things they shouldn't be doing. So let's look at one that's really good for older children, Race for the Galaxy. I play this a lot with my sons. Race for the Galaxy. In Race for the Galaxy, you're attempting to become the sort of most powerful space lord of the galaxy. So you're creating your own powerful empire across the galaxy. There are 5 phases on every round: explore, develop, settle, consume and produce. In explore, you're gaining new cards. In develop, you are developing your technologies. Settle allows you to settle new planets. Consume means you're producing some resources. And actually produce means you're producing goods on cards you already have. So these are the different phases. Now everybody plays every phase, but also players at the beginning of each round can select from one of their cards, which allows them to get a bonus on a particular phase. So for example, you could choose to get more cards in the explore phase, or you could choose to produce extra goods on planets that normally wouldn't produce them in the produce phase. So you select where you want your bonus, but everybody plays every single phase. So everybody's playing all the time. And you're trying to build up a sort of galaxy of these different cards. All the icons mean different things. This is why I say it's better for older children, because you know there's a pretty complex player aid. It's double-sided. There's a lot of icons. The learning curve is a little steeper the first time you play it, but it's worth it, and it goes down well with lots of people. So you'll have all these different cards in front of you, and at the end of the game, all of these cards will give you different points. So that is Race for the Galaxy. Now, secondly, we have Fortune City. This could easily have been in the city building video of a few weeks ago. In Fortune City, you are the mayor. Oh, let's get rid of these Race from the Galaxy cards. There. You're creating a city in Fortune City, and you start with a very simple player board which you're going to build it out on. So you start with a sort of city hall and a couple of spaces for construction and a park. And on each round, again, there's different phases that you go through. But what you're aiming to do is you're aiming to get these different buildings from the general pool, and you have to pay for these using cash. You're aiming to get these different buildings, so that's a value 2 building. That one you have to pay 4 for. You're getting these different buildings, and you are putting them into, when you've bought them, you're putting them into your construction zone. And then if you want to build them, you have to pay again. You have to pay the same cost again to build them. And so you're going to end up with different things, different tiles in your city. And so it grows on the table, which is really nice. You can also get a bank, which is going to give you a pretty cool credit card. I like that. Which you'll put some coins on, and you can save the coins on there. There's loads of coins in here, and each of these different building tiles will produce something. And this one produces rubbish, so there's a kind of cute little rubbish token. Some of the others will produce money. This one produces diamonds. There's a nice little diamond there. And your aim, as you are building these things, is to be able to put people in them, because when there's people in them, then they start producing resources on the tile in the building. So each time a tile comes out to be bought, a little person will come out and be put next to it. It may be the same colour as the tile, so that's a blue tile and a blue person, but it might not be. You might get the wrong colour person with your tile. So the aim is to try and match up your colour tiles with the right colour people who sit in your park until they're used, and then one of the phases is to move people into new buildings, and when you do that they produce resources, and the resources stay on the building, but you can collect them with a very cool delivery truck, which I think is in the box actually, and the delivery truck moves around. Where is it? Here we are. You can see here all these lovely wooden components. The delivery truck moves around and it has a limited number of spaces it can move, and each turn it picks up rubbish and gets rid of it, which gives you negative points at the end, or diamonds, which gives you positive points at the end, or money, which you can then use. To increase how far you can go and your points and your money, you have to try and build buildings of these different colours. And then you go up on these different tracks. So if you go up on the blue track, you're going to be able to move your delivery truck further on each round, which allows you to take more of the resources off the cards. It's a lovely game, Fortune City. Now, Captain Sonar. I mentioned this game briefly in the video I did about my favourite top 10 game components. Captain Sonar is a real-time game, so not only is everybody playing at the same time on all actions, but you sort of play as quickly as you can. It just keeps going. So there's 2 teams and they're separated down the middle of the table. You can play with up to 8 people. They're separated down the middle of the table by these dividers. This is one of 2, so it can go down a really long table. And on each team there are people with different roles. So for example, each team will have a captain, and the captain will have a certain map. Oh, that's the radio operator's map. They're very similar. The captain will have a certain map, and then on the map he'll be drawing his location, and he'll be travelling around, moving his submarine around different places, avoiding the islands and trying to navigate to where they think the other player's submarine is so they can launch an attack. The idea is that each team is operating a submarine and they're trying to find and shoot down the other submarine before it finds and shoots them down. So the radio operator has a very similar map, which is covered by this overlay, and they're listening to the directions that the other player's captain is giving. And so when they hear the other player captains saying north, east, north, east, south, they're doing this, but they can move it around on the map because they don't yet know where it is. They're trying to work out where they might be based on the directions that the other captain is giving. And then this radio operator is giving information to their captain about where they need to navigate to. As well as that, you have a first mate who is powering up the different special abilities of the submarine, so the drone and the mines that they can lay. And you also have an engineer who is managing the damage that is being taken on the sub and trying to control the systems. The engineer will tell the captain if he can't go north, south, east or west, or if you need to resurface to repair damage. It's crazy, hectic, can be stressful, it's absolutely brilliant fun. Captain Sonar. And finally, what is a modern classic? 7 Wonders. Again, this could have been in the city building video that we did a couple of weeks ago. Each player is given a sort of ancient city. This is Rhodes, this one's Babylon, and it's sort of based on the 7 Wonders of the world. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to select cards that you're going to place in your tableau, which is centred around your board, which ultimately at the end of the game will give you points. So it involves card drafting. You get you get a set of 7, I think, cards given to you at the beginning of each round. You look at them, you select which one you want to play, and you pass the rest on. And you do that every time, and each time, and everybody does it at the same time. So everybody's card drafting, taking one, playing it in front of them, paying for the cost of the card, getting bonuses if they get them, and then moving on. And when you get to the end of phase 1, you get new cards for phase 2. These are slightly more powerful. When you finish phase 2, you get to phase 3. These are more powerful still. There's lots of different ways to get points. In rounds 1 and 2, you're going to want to try and get some resources, because these help you build other things later on. So for example, if you've got this and you want to build this later on, you can see all the resource cost is here. So you'll need 2 stone, 1 ore and 1 glass. So you need to try and gather resources so that you can build them later on. If you've got these in your tableau, you can just use them as many times as you want. So they don't give you points at the end of the game, but they help you get points using other cards. So your blue cards, those are straight victory points. Your yellow cards, they're trade cards. Some of them give you victory points, some of them give you other benefits, you know, better trade opportunities with the players next to you, or money. Then there are science cards, and this adds a sort of set collection aspect. You're trying to collect different sets of similar icons to gain more points. And then there are military cards, and you are always battling the people on either side of you to see at the end of each round who has the most military points, because they get extra victory points. At the end of the game, you count up all the points earned in different ways, and you give a score. You work out who's won at the end. It's lovely because nobody ever knows who's going to win, because you're really concentrating on what you're doing. You're not looking at what everybody else is doing. It plays with up to 7 people. It's a lovely game. 7 wonders.